Every time you eat sugar, a light switches on deep inside your brain, the exact same circuit that lights up in a gambler at a slot machine. The problem isn't that it feels good. The problem is what happens when the machine stops paying out. That constant 3 p.m. crash, the cravings that hit out of nowhere, the energy that vanishes by mid-afternoon no matter how much you slept. These aren't personality flaws. They are the predictable behavior of a system running on the wrong fuel. Today, we're going to walk through what actually happens inside your body, day by day from the moment you stop eating added sugar. We'll go through the crash, the turn, and the repair. And I'll tell you exactly why day 3 is where almost everyone quits, and how to get past it. Let's start the clock. The moment you stop feeding your body added sugar, the first thing that changes is something you can't feel. The roller coaster stops climbing. Normally, a sugary meal sends a flood of glucose into your bloodstream. Your pancreas panics and releases a surge of insulin to shove that sugar out of the blood and into storage. Think of insulin as a dispatcher shouting into a warehouse. Store it, store it, store it! Then, an hour later, blood sugar crashes below where it started, and you feel the hunger, the fog, the reach for another snack. That's the roller coaster. Up, down, all day long. On day 1, you take your hands off the controls. Without the constant sugar spikes, insulin isn't being fired off every couple of hours. The blood sugar line, which used to look like a mountain range, starts to flatten. But there's a second system that notices immediately, and this one you will feel. Sugar doesn't just feed your cells, it triggers a release of dopamine in the reward center of your brain, the same chemical messenger tied to motivation and pleasure. Picture that reward center as a casino floor. Every hit of sugar is a small payout, lights and bells. When you flood that casino for years, it adapts. It turns down the volume, expecting the next big win. So on day 1, when the payouts suddenly stop, the casino is still lit up, still waiting. Nothing dramatic yet. But the machine is listening. This is the calm before the wall. This is the zone where most people give up, and it's the most misunderstood part of the entire process. By day 2 or 3, the reward center realizes the payouts aren't coming back. This is where cravings peak. For many people, this is also where the headaches show up, the irritability, the low mood, the strange fatigue. You might feel foggy and short-tempered and convinced the whole thing was a mistake. Here's the misconception. People feel this and think, see, my body needs sugar. That is exactly backwards. Your body has no requirement for a single gram of added sugar. It can make all the glucose it needs on its own. What you're feeling isn't a nutritional deficiency, it's a recalibration. Think of it like a thermostat that's been set wrong for years. The room is actually a comfortable temperature now, but the thermostat is still screaming that something is off because it was calibrated to a constant sugar signal. It takes a few days for the dial to reset to reality. At the same time, your body is quietly switching fuel sources. It's draining the easy, stored sugar in your liver and muscles and learning to run more steadily on what's already there. Like a car that's only ever run on high-octane fuel being asked to switch to the reserve tank, it sputters for a moment before it smooths out. The single most important thing to understand is this: the wall is temporary, and it is a sign the process is working, not failing. The people who quit on day 3 quit right before the reward arrives. The people who push through are about to feel something they haven't felt in years. Somewhere between day 4 and day 7, the fog lifts. Because the blood sugar roller coaster has flattened, your energy stops spiking and crashing. Instead of the familiar mid-afternoon collapse, you get something unfamiliar, a steady, flat line of energy that lasts all day. This is the first reward, and it's the one that convinces people to keep going. You're no longer riding the wave, you're standing on solid ground. The cravings start to loosen their grip. The casino has finally turned its volume back down to normal, so a piece of fruit now registers as genuinely sweet instead of disappointing. Your dopamine system is remembering how to respond to smaller, real rewards. And underneath the surface, the most valuable change is beginning. With insulin no longer being blasted out every few hours, your cells slowly start becoming sensitive to it again. Here's the mechanism the food industry would rather you didn't think about. Insulin works by knocking on a receptor on the surface of your cells, like ringing a doorbell so the cell opens up and takes in sugar. When you flood the system with sugar for years, insulin is ringing that doorbell constantly, and the cells get exhausted and stop answering. That's insulin resistance, the root of type 2 diabetes. When you remove the constant sugar, the ringing stops, and slowly the cells start answering the door again. You are, quite literally, beginning to reverse the process at its source. By the second week, the repair moves deeper, into the liver. Your liver is the body's central processing plant. When you eat more sugar than you can burn, especially the fructose half of table sugar, the liver has to do something with the excess, so it converts it into fat. Picture an overworked factory taking in far more raw material than it can ship out, so it starts cramming the surplus into every corner as grease. Do that for years, and fat quietly accumulates inside the liver itself. This is one of the most common metabolic problems in the modern world, and most people who have it have no idea. When you cut sugar, you stop delivering the raw material. The factory finally gets to stop producing fat and start clearing it out. This isn't a slow, decade-long process either. When researchers took sugar out of children's diets without even reducing their total calories, measurable liver fat dropped in about 10 days, and their metabolic markers improved right alongside it. 10 days, just from removing the sugar. At the same time, the low-grade inflammation that rides along with constant blood sugar spikes begins to settle. Think of it as a smoldering fire that you've stopped feeding fuel. Your triglycerides, a type of fat in your blood driven up by sugar, start to fall. None of this is visible in the mirror yet, but the internal chemistry is shifting toward repair. By the 3rd and 4th week, the changes reach the surface. Your palate is now fully reset. Remember the volume dial on that reward center? It's back to a normal setting. This has a strange and permanent feeling effect. The sugary foods you used to love now taste aggressively sweet, almost unpleasant. A soda that once tasted refreshing tastes like syrup. This is one of the most reliable reports from people who quit. Not that they resist sugar, but that they genuinely stop wanting it because their taste system finally works properly again. Your skin may start to change too, though this one is slower and I want to be honest about it. Excess sugar in the blood attaches to proteins like collagen in a process that stiffens and dulls skin over time. Removing the sugar slows that process, but this is a repair measured in weeks and months, not days. So if your skin looks clearer by week 4, that's real. If it doesn't yet, that's also completely normal. Don't let anyone sell you a 3-day miracle. Energy is now consistently stable. Cravings are mostly a memory. Insulin sensitivity has meaningfully improved. Liver fat is down, inflammation is lower. You haven't just removed a food, you've recalibrated an entire system that was stuck in a loop of spike, crash, and repair that never finishes. Step back and look at what a single month without added sugar actually did. You broke a dopamine loop that had been running your cravings. You flattened a blood sugar roller coaster that was draining your energy. You started reversing insulin resistance at the cellular level. You gave your liver room to clear out stored fat. You cooled the inflammation, dropped your triglycerides, and reset your sense of taste back to factory settings. And here's the part worth sitting with. None of this required a special product, a supplement, or a subscription. It required subtraction. In a food environment engineered to keep you spiking, the most powerful thing you can do is simply stop. Before you close this video, let me give you the practical blueprint, because most people quit sugar the wrong way and set themselves up to fail. First, know your real enemy. This is about added sugar and refined carbs, not whole fruit. An apple comes wrapped in fiber that slows the sugar's absorption to a trickle. That's a completely different signal than a spoon of table sugar. Don't fear the fruit. Second, hunt the hidden sugar. The obvious stuff is candy and soda. The dangerous stuff is hiding in your healthy foods. The yogurt, the granola, the bread, the pasta sauce, the salad dressing, the flavored coffee. Third, get through the wall on purpose. Do not try to white-knuckle it on an empty tank. Anchor every meal with protein and fat. They blunt cravings and keep your energy flat. Drink water with a pinch of salt during the hardest days to fight the headaches. And protect your sleep, because a single bad night spikes the hormones that drive sugar cravings the next day. If the wall gets brutal, bridge it with whole fruit. That's a win, not a failure. Fourth, pick your style. Cold turkey brings a sharper wall but a faster palate reset. Tapering is gentler but slower. Both work. The only version that fails is the one you don't stick to. So here's my challenge to you. If you're starting this, today, right now, comment day 1 below so we can find each other and check back in a week. I want to know who hit the wall on day 3 and who broke through to the other side. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because next we're going inside your body to see what happens when you finally get a full night of deep sleep and why it might be the most powerful repair system you own. Your biology isn't broken. It's just been waiting for you to stop feeding the machine. See you in the next one.